Greetings to all of you. I'm going to inform you about how people treat you and how they keep their opinions hidden from you behind our backs. The most terrible nightmare of my life would be likely to shake you up as well. So now let's move on to my absolute experience. Before that, however, you can subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon for more engrossing couple revenge stories in the future. I'm Eric, 31 years old man, and my ex-wife Emma is 29 years old. We've been married for 2 years now, and it has been a very happy period for us. I then had some unfortunate events that occurred to me which caused me to be mentally disturbed for the remainder of my life. I used to work as a security officer at a private company during the time when I worked there for a private company. She worked as a yoga instructor at the time. I attended a yoga class that she was teaching. The first time I met Emma, I found her a very nice girl who was also a very fine instructor. Besides that, we became good friends and started hanging out occasionally. And after a short while, we started dating. It took us a few months to get married after dating for a few months. In my opinion, living with Emma was a healthy way of living life because she was an extreme yoga and a gym freak. Therefore, she was extremely strict about her diet as well as her time management. In addition to being a trainer, she was also a volunteer and social worker for a social service agency. Having her in my life changed my life so much that I was less punctual than I am now as a result of her. She was, however, a person I felt comfortable with, so I was happy with her. In addition, she's also a very cooperative wife when it comes to everything she does. My wife made me food on time even though she had a very difficult schedule. As well as making me a tiffin for work, she also made me dinner at the right time because both of us were very physically fit. We both had a lot of orgasms with each other and we had a very wild sexual life with each other. Both of us were satisfied with the outcome. Our sex life has been wonderful. We had not had any disagreements. A year after getting married, the real problems began to appear. My room was empty when I woke up one night and I couldn't find her anywhere in it. When I called her name, she did not respond. There was even no sign of her car, so I was a bit concerned. I called her, but she did not answer my call. It was impossible for me to sleep after that, so I stayed up all night waiting for her. During the time I was waiting for her, I fell asleep. Upon waking up in the morning, I found her in the kitchen preparing breakfast. When I walked into the kitchen, she told me her friend was sick, so I went to see her in the hospital. I would appreciate if you could please let me know so I can also join you. You could not go out at midnight if you want to stay safe. She replied, "My dear, I'm not a kid and I don't want to disturb you in the middle of your sleep, so I didn't let you know about it." To which I replied, "I'm sorry, but I should ask you about it." She said she did not want to fight in the morning. In spite of the fact that she had been out of sleep for a whole night, she looked fresh. There was also a change in her tone of voice. At least she gave me an explanation of where she was, so I ignored that. It was the same day that she informed me that she had to stay with her friend in the hospital since she did not have anyone in the city who could help her. After I said okay, I would take her to the hospital, and she said, "No, I won't need you to go. I can handle it myself." I said fine. She seemed to be acting with a sense of nervousness in her behavior. She then left the room. In spite of this, I started watching Netflix to pass the time since I wasn't in the mood to drift off to sleep that night. While all that time was going on, as I thought about her strange manner, I couldn't get it out of my head. Honestly, I was interested in visiting her friend because, as Emma said, she did not have any family, so I thought I should go and support her. But since Emma refused me to accompany her, I was unable to visit her friend. I ignored all of this because I had blind faith in Emma and I was sure that she was telling me the truth. Why would she lie to me? I had another encounter after that day, which led me to doubt Emma even more. My company was very far away from the center of the city and Emma had a spare car, so we did not disturb each other on the way to work. I once had a car breakdown and I asked Emma to lend it to me since my car wasn't working. She agreed and proceeded to travel via Uber. I was driving Emma's car to the office. On my way to the office in the middle of the trip, I noticed a strong fragrance going into her car that I thought was a man's fragrance, so it was much stronger in the back seat. Furthermore, under the seat I discovered a male fancy cuff button that I was not expecting to find. It wasn't mine at all. There was no doubt in my mind that I did not use these kind of buttons, nor did I use that perfume. As a result, it was the biggest red flag. The whole day I was thinking about that button and the smell of the perfume all the time. Then I got in touch with a friend of mine and we discussed the matter. You should be careful about this because it is a sour truth, but it may be the case that Emma was involved in something with someone else. I was not conned by him because I was aware of the fact that Emma was not like that at all. I was then told by Emma that she had been invited to a function where she worked as a volunteer social worker. As part of her volunteer work, a representative of the social worker agency encouraged Emma to come along with her husband to the party. During that day, I felt like Emma was happy. However, I thought now everything is fine because she was behaving just like she used to be before. The function was held and we went there. It was a good party and everyone appreciated Emma because of her volunteer work that she did, particularly the representative. It seemed like he was very involved with her since he also danced with her to a song that he was singing to her. That guy was 53 years old. I did not think any negative thing about them as they were in front of me. He has 3 children and a wife. There was a noble lady who was his wife. My first thought was that they are just being frank because they are co-workers. Anyway, I had a great time at the party as well. In the middle of the night, I and Emma went out of the house and I drove to somewhere far away. The next day, when I asked her about it, she refused to answer and said that she did not go anywhere. Perhaps it was just a dream I had. After that, she started fighting with me and made a big conflict. Then she left the house and drove to her place of work. As a result of her attitude, I was upset for the whole day. It was at night when I got home and she made me dinner and I did not speak to her and went straight to bed to sleep, but because I was angry with Emma for what she did to me. As she approached me, she began to say that she was sorry for how she behaved in the morning. I knew I did not want to behave like this, but I didn't know what to do. I just wanted to apologize and beg you to forgive me. As I was listening to her quietly, she began to hug and kiss me intensely. I was also very kind of you to apologize to me, and I appreciated it. We had sex that night and we had a great time together. It could be said that it was her dirty game for me, that she played on me. I had a good relationship with her for 3 days and she behaved well towards me. But after that, something very strange happened to me that made me wonder what was happening. The other night, as I drifted off to sleep, I woke up at 10 o'clock in the morning. I don't know what happened to me because I was always punctual in getting up before that time, but that day was unusual for me. For some reason, even though I have been sleeping for more than 10 hours, I still felt sleepy at work after sleeping for that long. After experiencing the same feeling for 4 days in a row in the morning, I decided to consult a doctor. He revealed to me after the checkup that I had taken too much sleeping tablets, and that was why I felt like that. In spite of my insistence that I don't even know anything about any sort of tablet, he informed me that the test reports show that you took Zopiclone drug tablet for sleeping and that you took these medications in an amount that were higher than the normal dose. Due to the fact that reports were true, I did not argue to that point. My mind starts to wander as soon as I get home from the doctor's office and I begin to wonder how this is possible. It occurred to me suddenly that over the last 4 days I had fallen asleep immediately after having dinner for the last 4 days. It was quite possible that food had the drug for sleep, so at night when Emma made dinner for me and told me to eat, I grabbed the food, went to the study room, and said I would eat when I had completed my work. Something needed to be done, so I had to get to the work. As a matter of fact, I had not slept until 11:30 in the night, when I normally sleep at 9:30 in the night. My food was wasted and it was obvious that Emma was giving me drugs to make me fall asleep. It was then I was certain that Emma was doing something very wrong behind me at this point in time. In order to keep myself awake, I acted as if I had eaten the food and that I was very tired and sleepy and pretended to be asleep. She drove somewhere else in the middle of the night again. As a result, I decided to do something about it. To find out where she goes at night, I began thinking about how to do it. I came up with an idea and arranged a few spy cameras and hid them in her car in order to catch her in the act. On the following night, I tried to act like I had fallen asleep, but I wasn't. On another day, I checked the recording from her car and found out that she had been in an affair with a guy that she met every night in her car, and he also fucked her in the car every night. It was surprising how my hidden cameras were able to figure out everything that was going on. I was astonished to learn that Emma's affair partner at the function was her co-worker, a guy who dances with her at the event. As a result of what Emma did, I felt sick to my stomach. My fucking trust in her was broken. In her relationship with a guy who was almost her father's age, she was almost infatuated with him. It was always my pleasure to support her in any way I could. I had always stood next to her no matter what, but she played the game with me right in front of my eyes all the time. Despite the fact that I had faith in her, she took advantage of it. In order to avenge myself, I wanted to take revenge on her. In order to make sure that I'm going to divorce Emma, my first step was to consult with the lawyer about making the divorce papers. In order to do so, we both had no kids, so it was easy for us to separate without having to worry about any other obstacles. The next day, I went to the workplace where she was employed and got the address of her affair partner from one of her colleagues there. In order to inform his wife of what had happened, I went there. The only problem was that she was not there when I went to see her, so I got her phone number instead. I sent her the recording and told her everything that her husband was doing with my wife. As a result, she became very angry and decided that she was going to divorce him. However, when I arrived home, Emma was already there. It is my understanding that she was already scared because her affair partner had already fought and told her everything that had transpired. As soon as I got angry with her, I picked up everything I could find around me and started throwing it at her. I was extremely angry about her cheating. After I told her that I had recorded her when she was getting fucked by that man, I refused to listen to me. My feelings for her are no longer the same, and I don't give a fuck to her anymore. She got smashed in the face with divorce papers. While she was crying, I did not even give her a chance to stand in front of me. She was thrown out of the house by me. The motherfucking bitch has long gone from my life, but what she did to me still disturbs me mentally to this day. Even in the middle of the night, I was unable to sleep. In short, he made my entire life a living hell. Even so, I am getting better with the passage of time, and I am moving on from this horrible experience that I had in my life. The last thing I wanted to do was not think about that. My goal at the time was to live a life of peace and prosperity with my own circle. The only one I need is myself.